Here is a monkey's fist with 3 strands, so that everywhere are 3 strands. It's finished with an eye splice, nice and tight there. Here's one with 4 on each side of the fist, and again finished with an eye splice. Now, to do our monkey's fist, we need to take about a metre of rope. I take a little more than a metre of rope. Okay, and I'm going to use 3 fingers, 1, 2, 3. Now that looks like 4, but in fact when I peel off, it's just going to leave me with 3. I'm then going to do 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to be careful not to be too tight. Now, again, I have got, looks like 4, but when I put this one down here, we're back to 3. So I'm going to do 3 loops up through here. So I've just finished 1 loop, down, so that's 1.5, up, down. Difficulty with these knots is the tightening process. So once I've done this, I'm going to work backwards right through the knot, tightening. Now I actually have 3, so I'm going to go through again, but this time I'm going to come back out on the same side as where I started. So come out here. I have now got all my loops in here. It's a little bit out of order. Right, now the finish is going to be, really I'll want about that much for my splice. So now I'm just going to feed back the rope right the way through my knot, and this is where it's hard to keep track. If you forget which way you're working, you end up back at the end again, and you have to start again, if you know what I mean. Okay, so we are working through. Now we're coming this way. So this tightening process, well, it's really more of an evening up process than a tightening. You can see I'm actually leaving it quite loose. You can push to see which strand you're actually working. Push. Yeah, push. And push. Okay, we're now going into our very first loops that we did. There, and these were loose. They're on 3 fingers, so I'm going to do those reasonably tight. Back again for my middle one. And my last one now. And right, I have 3 strands. I've got 1 loose one, and it's my start there. So actually looking quite good. Now splices. Splices are quite tricky. If you're just wanting your knot, you could do a whipping there to hold that. You could cut the end off and leave it tucked away inside the knot, but splicing is a handy skill to have. I'm going to start with yellow under yellow. Now this end is melted. I need to break it apart. Well, that might be easier said than done. I may have to snip it again just so that I can get to the end. I'm going to undo my strands, and with this rope I've got 1 yellow as a marker. So I'm going to bring my yellow and take it under the yellow. I wind back to open the loop through, And when I'm doing a splice, I always twist the rope up and tighten. Now my next loop here, I'm going to come back and go under the next blue. If you get this first row correct, then everything else falls out. Now that blue I might take under, so here we're under a yellow. This blue has got to go under the next strand, which will be that blue there. I guess you may have to run that bit of the video a couple of times, but now I have got my rope out of each strand. There is another strand, and I just go over one, under one, all the way down. Undo a roll, through, whoops, I'm fumbling now, through, twist to tighten, and pull up. Now we've been under the yellow rope with the yellow, so now we're going over a blue and under another blue. My yellow is coming apart. That's it. I'm going to twist and pull up. Now this blue has gone over a blue, it's due to go under the yellow one. Alright, we've now got 2 strands of our splice done. We might do one more and then cut off. Okay, but that would probably be enough. You could finish your splice after 2 rounds. Oh, I've got a frayed fumble. Pull that out of my way. I've got yellow. It's gone under a yellow. I'm now going to go over a yellow and under the other blue. That's it. Pull it out of the way. My blue is over a blue. It's now got to go under that blue. You can imagine old salties doing this with thick pieces of shipping rope. It's a very difficult job. Okay, now to smooth up a splice, it's always best to roll in your hands. Then looks quite a bit smoother. Then you can see the mistakes if there are any. And now we're going to pull up here and snip. Side cutters let you get in nice and close. Pull up. And snip. And pull up. I cut that yellow a bit too short. And snip. So we now have, yes, I cut the yellow too short. We now have our monkey's fist finished with a splice. So that's really an eye splice. It's quite complex.